Libra, dear soul, this Sunday, December 14th, is not just a date on your calendar, it is a divine appointment. A triple blessing is headed your way: success, good fortune, and a long overdue sense of inner peace. This video is your sacred confirmation. Let me ask you something deeply honest. What if everything you've quietly endured, all the waiting, the silent battles, the prayers whispered in the dark, were actually preparing you for this very moment? You see, the fact that you're here right now, watching this message on Zodiac Whisper Tarot, isn't coincidence. It's synchronicity. It's spiritual alignment. And if your intuition has been whispering that something is about to shift, then trust that whisper. Because today, Libra, we're not just talking about astrology. We're talking about your life opening fully and finally. December 14th carries a rare frequency. The stars, the symbols, and your soul are all speaking the same language. You don't need to chase anything anymore. The energy of this moment is not about forcing. It's about receiving. It's about recognizing that you have reached a threshold and the universe is inviting you to walk through it with power and grace. Perhaps you've felt it already. A subtle change in your body, a strange calm in your chest, or an urge to reorganize your space for no reason at all. That's not random. That's energetic preparation. That's your inner world responding to the external shift coming your way. And Libra, the blessings that are arriving are not just physical or financial, though they may include that. They are energetic recalibrations. A reset. A reward. A return to balance, the very essence of your zodiac sign. There's a divine justice at play here. The kind that doesn't come loudly, but arrives softly through clarity, timing, and alignment. Just like Psalm 37 verse 4 says, "Delight yourself in the Lord, and He will give you the desires of your heart." That's not just a verse. That's a vibration. And right now, it is surrounding you. Let me take a sacred moment to say thank you. Thank you for being here. Every like, every comment, every subscription is a sacred ripple. It carries your energy deeper into this spiritual space we've built together and allows us to continue offering messages that help you feel seen, aligned, and prepared for what's coming next. And believe me, Libra, what's coming next is spectacular. So before we dive in, I want to ask you something simple but powerful. If this message already resonates, if something inside you feels this sacred shift, then anchor it right now. Write it in the comments. Claim your alignment. You can say, "I am ready to receive my triple blessing on December 14th, or "I choose divine ease, success, and abundance." By doing that, you're not just participating, you're aligning. You're giving the universe your sacred yes. And I promise you, it hears you. Stay with me until the very end of this video. Because what we're about to uncover may be exactly what your soul has been waiting for. Sometimes, when the soul has been stretched by long periods of waiting, of trying without recognition, of hoping quietly in the background while others are celebrated in the spotlight, it forgets that its path is not a punishment, it's preparation. And now, Libra, that sacred preparation is aligning with divine timing. You are no longer in the energy of almost. You are standing at the threshold of a shift that was designed specifically for you. December 14th isn't just a date, it's a vibration. It holds within it the gentle frequency of restoration. This energy doesn't rush in with noise or drama. Instead, it arrives softly, like the first breeze after a storm, like light slowly returning to a dim room. That's what healing looks like when you're finally ready to receive it. It's not about striving, Anna Marie, it's about surrendering with trust. The universe no longer needs you to prove your worth. It already knows. You've done the work, even when no one else was watching. And because of that, the Justice card appears not to judge you, but to affirm you. This is the Tarot's way of saying, you've been seen. You've been heard. Now here is what you've earned. In astrology, justice doesn't just speak of fairness, it speaks of balance restored after seasons of misalignment. For Libra, that message is deeply personal. Balance isn't a nice to have, it is your natural state. And when the scales have been tipped too long, it's not just uncomfortable, it's unnatural. That's why this moment matters. Because for the first time in a long while, the scales are leveling not through effort, but through grace. And the things you once thought you had lost? They're not lost. They were simply being refined. What returns to you now comes in a form that mirrors who you've become, cleaner, clearer, and more in tune with your evolved energy. Sometimes, the door doesn't open when you knock. It opens when you stop knocking and start trusting. That is the energy you're in right now. And if a part of you feels like resting, or slowing down, or clearing your space without knowing why, that's your intuition making room for what's next. Don't ignore it. Your body knows when your spirit is preparing for more. You may be tempted to think that ease means something's wrong, that maybe you missed something or forgot to try harder. But ease is not the absence of meaning. Sometimes it is the presence of rightness. What flows to you now comes not because you chased it, but because you finally aligned with it. You surrendered not out of weakness, but out of wisdom. And while I'm not here to preach, I will say this gently: life has a way of returning what's been taken, often when we least expect it. Sometimes, what we call luck is simply the echo of our quiet persistence meeting divine orchestration. Maybe you've prayed, maybe you've just whispered your desires into a silent night, but either way, you're not alone. And you never were. So if your heart feels still for the first time in a long time, trust that stillness. If your spirit feels soft, let it stay that way. You are not in a race anymore. You are in a receiving season. And the very best thing you can do now is not to run faster, but to open wider. This is your time. And the door ahead? It's not locked. It was always meant to open the moment you remembered that it was yours. Sometimes, blessings arrive not with fireworks, but with quiet precision. Libra, as you ease into the energy of this sacred timing, you may begin to notice that what once felt far out of reach is now coming closer on its own, without struggle, without force. That's not luck. That's alignment. It's a shift in your vibrational field that has been building for months, maybe even years, finally reaching a frequency that allows life to respond to you differently. And what's coming now is not one blessing, but three, each arriving with a specific intention, each resonating with a different layer of your being. In the realm of career and purpose, something significant is unfolding. There is no need to chase or hustle your way into recognition anymore. The right opportunity, but a role, a project, a collaboration, or even a change of direction will present itself in a way that feels strangely natural. This is not about compromise. It's about resonance. You'll know it by how it makes your shoulders relax, not tense. You'll know it by how your inner voice says yes, before your mind even fully processes it. This is the reward of trusting your timing. When you no longer strive to prove your worth, you begin to magnetize experiences that honor it. Equally important is the blessing of emotional and energetic ease. You may feel the urge to declutter, to light a candle, to move more slowly, to withdraw gently from the noise of the outside world. That's not laziness. That's recalibration. Your nervous system, your cells, even your breath are all responding to the download of a new frequency. The beauty of this type of blessing is that it doesn't always look like action. It looks like stillness. It feels like softness. But it works like medicine. Allow your body to lead here. Sometimes, the most powerful thing you can do is pause and listen. Healing isn't always loud. Often, it begins in silence. And then there is the unexpected abundance, tangible, measurable, but arriving from a place you could not have predicted. A delayed payment. A forgotten refund. A surprise commission. A generous gift. These are not coincidences. They are the financial echo of the inner work you've done. You have been sowing seeds of faith, of consistency, of quiet intention. And now the harvest is ready. But what makes this even more remarkable is that you're not receiving out of desperation. You're receiving because you finally trust the rhythm of giving and receiving. And that shift changes everything. I often tell those I guide, when your spirit begins to rest, your blessings begin to move. We live in a world that glamorizes the grind. But what if your peace is your power? What if your ability to soften is the exact thing that calls your desires home? Maybe the real wealth isn't just in the money, or the opportunity, or the success. Maybe it's in the way these things come to you without force, without fear, without you sacrificing yourself to earn them. So if things start showing up this week, if something lands in your inbox, or someone reaches out with a strange but exciting proposal, or if money finds its way to you without explanation, breathe. Don't question whether you deserve it. You do. Your only job is to receive with grace and clarity. Not all miracles come in dramatic form. Some slip in quietly, exactly when your energy says, "I'm ready." Let this part of your journey remind you that blessings don't always shout. Sometimes, they whisper, "I never left you. I was simply waiting for you to believe again." And now that you do, Libra, they're rushing in not because you chased them, but because you finally stopped running away from your own light. There are moments in life when someone reappears or arrives for the first time, and although your mind may scramble to explain the timing, your heart already knows. This isn't about logic, it's about resonance. Libra, as a sign governed by Venus, your soul is wired for connection, for beauty, for harmony. But the kind of connection we're talking about here goes far beyond surface-level chemistry. This is energetic recognition. A soul-to-soul remembering. As the energy of December 14th rises, the possibility increases that someone will enter your field who seems to vibrate on a frequency that mirrors something sacred in you. It may be someone from your past who returns in a completely new form, not because they've changed everything, but because you have. And now, the version of you that exists today meets them from a different altitude. You no longer need them to validate you, to complete you, or to fill a space you once feared was empty. This time, the connection can be based on mutual evolution, not old wounds. Or perhaps it won't be someone familiar. Perhaps it will be a mentor, a guide, a collaborator, or someone who steps into your life so seamlessly that it feels like they were always meant to show up at this exact moment. If that happens, don't dismiss it. Don't rationalize it away as coincidence. This is the natural response of the universe when you've done the inner work. When you've softened your armor just enough for others to feel safe entering your orbit. The people who meet you when you are finally at peace with who you are tend to be the ones meant to walk beside you, not ahead, not behind, but next to you. In astrology, aspects involving Venus, Neptune, or the North Node often indicate destined unions, magnetic encounters, and karmic alignments. And while I won't say definitively what transits are playing out for you right now, I will say this: if you feel a tug in your chest, a sense of familiarity with someone new, or even a pull to reconnect with someone you haven't spoken to in years, trust that feeling. The language of the soul doesn't always come with clear explanations. Sometimes, it comes as a subtle knowing, a soft yes, a sense that someone sees you in a way others never have. But let me be clear, this person isn't arriving to save you. That season has passed. You're not in need of rescue. What you are ready for now is reflection. The kind that shows you what parts of yourself have grown, what parts have healed, and what parts are now ready to love and be loved without distortion. It takes great emotional maturity to stand in the presence of someone powerful and not lose yourself, but that's exactly what you're stepping into. A sacred balance where love doesn't consume you, it enhances you. If your heart has been asking for a sign that you're not meant to walk alone on this next chapter, this could be it. And yet, the real message isn't just about the arrival of someone new. It's about your readiness to meet them. To be seen not for your perfection, but for your presence. For your truth. For the light you carry when you're no longer trying to dim yourself to fit in. So if you notice a name coming back into your awareness, a dream featuring someone from your past, or a chance encounter that stirs something deeper than attraction, pause. Feel. Don't rush to label it. Just acknowledge that this could be a response to your growth. A mirror. A guide. A gift. And maybe, just maybe, the beginning of something your soul always knew would find its way back to you. Some energies speak in whispers, and others carry a frequency so clear, so undeniable, that they demand acknowledgement. Libra, the number 8, is one of those frequencies. It doesn't shout, but it resonates deep in the bones of those who are ready for personal power, stability, and the kind of abundance that doesn't just appear but stays. In numerology, 8 is the vibration of material mastery, energetic authority, and cyclical wholeness. It is a number that reminds you, what you give, you will receive, and what you believe, you will build. As we move into the portal of December 14th, where the day itself vibrates to the number 8, 1 + 4 + 1 + 2, you are being invited into a space of intentional recalibration. Not through hustle. Not through proving yourself. But through conscious participation with the life you say you're ready to live. The number 8 doesn't just symbolize wealth, it symbolizes responsibility. The ability to hold what's given with clarity, to grow it, and to become a steward of your own momentum. If you've ever felt the pulse of power but were too afraid to hold it, this is your time to change that. Because this time, the universe isn't asking you to chase. It's asking you to claim. There's a reason rituals matter during energetic peaks like this. It's not superstition, it's structure. The ritual of writing down what no longer serves you is a symbolic way of telling your mind, your body, and your field, I'm ready to make space. What you write may surprise you. A grudge you didn't realize you still carried. A version of yourself that you've outgrown. A limiting belief about money, love, or safety that's quietly shaped your choices. Let them all rise to the surface, not to shame you but to free you. And when you burn that paper, let it be a gesture of liberation. Do it mindfully. As the flame consumes what you release, imagine those energies returning to the universe, transformed and neutralized. You are not discarding your past, you are alchemizing it. And you are doing so with the guidance of your own inner authority, not because someone told you to, but because your energy is ready. Color can be a powerful ally in rituals like this, and violet holds a very specific vibration. Associated with the crown chakra, violet connects you to vision, higher knowing, and the unseen orchestration that moves beneath the surface of things. Lighting a violet candle or even simply having something violet nearby can act as a tuning fork, reminding your body and aura that something sacred is underway. You don't need elaborate tools. You just need presence, intention, willingness. The act of placing your hand on your heart and speaking your intention aloud may feel simple, but it is profound. The heart is not just an emotional center, it's electromagnetic. When you speak from this place, you imprint your desire not only into your thoughts but into the energy field around you. And what you say matters. Not in volume, but in vibration. So when you speak the words, I choose peace, success, and aligned prosperity to enter my life now, you are creating a contract. Not with the universe alone but with yourself. This is how you shift reality gently but powerfully, not by begging for a breakthrough, but by showing up for it. With stillness. With preparation. With faith. And perhaps most importantly with the decision to believe that what's coming isn't too good to be true, but right on time. Whatever your beliefs, know this, when you quiet your outer world enough to engage with the inner, you awaken something ancient and divine inside you. Whether you see this as spiritual, psychological, or purely energetic, it's all connected. And when you act with clarity, even in small, sacred ways, the world around you listens. The energy of 8 is already here. Now the question is, will you rise to meet it? There comes a point in every spiritual journey where the question shifts from, when will it happen, to, am I ready to receive it? And Libra, if you're listening closely right now, you'll feel the answer rising not from your mind, but from your body, from your chest, from that steady voice within that no longer wavers like it used to. Because you've reached the moment where you're no longer waiting for permission. Not from the world. Not from your past. Not even from the parts of yourself that used to hesitate in fear. The door has always been yours. And now, you are the one holding the key. It's easy in a world full of noise to believe that someone else has to validate your worth. That success needs a stamp of approval. That peace must be earned through exhaustion. But none of that was ever true. It was conditioning layers placed on your light by systems that were never built to see you in your fullness. And now, you are peeling those layers back, not with anger, but with clarity. Not to prove anything, but to remember who you were before the world asked you to shrink. Astrologically, this is the phase ruled not just by external transits, but by internal awakenings. When you cross the threshold of energetic maturity, you begin to see that true power isn't about control, it's about ownership. Of your voice. Your path. Your presence. You don't need to over-explain anymore. You don't need to be understood by everyone. Because alignment doesn't require applause, it requires integrity. And you've earned that through every small decision to keep showing up, even when no one was watching. From the lens of energy work and the law of attraction, this is what we call integration. Not just learning the lesson, but embodying it. You've moved from wishing for a new life to preparing for it. And preparation is not passive. It looks like clearing space, setting boundaries, saying yes to what resonates, and finally saying no without guilt. That's not rebellion. That's self-trust. And self-trust is one of the highest forms of spiritual power. In my years guiding others through both cosmic transitions and personal turning points, I've seen again and again how this stage changes everything. There's a kind of soft boldness that arises. A quiet knowing that you don't need a spotlight to walk in purpose. You just need to keep walking. And sometimes, the real miracle isn't what appears on the outside but the fact that you no longer abandon yourself to receive it. If you've been living in survival mode for too long, always waiting for the next yes, the next opportunity, the next moment of relief, then this is your shift. It's not a reward. It's a reflection. A response to your willingness to plant seeds even in dry seasons. Seeds of kindness. Seeds of boundaries. Seeds of truth. And now, the harvest is not just near, it's within you. Let this be the moment where you stop asking, "Am I allowed?" and start declaring, "I am ready." Because the person you've become is not an accident. It's a testimony to your resilience. And your growth didn't go unnoticed by the universe, it simply needed you to see it for yourself first. You don't need to knock on closed doors anymore. The one that matters is already open. And it's not waiting for you to be perfect. It's waiting for you to walk through. Libra, if you've made it this far, I want you to pause for just a moment and really let this settle into your spirit, not as an idea, but as a possibility already unfolding. So many of us have been conditioned to wait for perfect timing, to hold back until all the pieces make sense, or to second-guess our readiness. But the truth is, most miracles don't come when everything looks ideal. They come when something inside of us finally says yes. And today, in this very moment, maybe that quiet yes is already rising within you. Maybe the clarity you've been asking for isn't waiting somewhere out there, it's awakening inside of you right now. What if everything you've walked through, the closed doors, the delays, the longing, was not a denial but a sacred pause, preparing you for exactly what's coming? What if this very Sunday, December 14th, is not just a date on the calendar but your personal gateway into ease, prosperity, and spiritual fulfillment? You've done the work not just on the outside, but inside your heart. You've let go of old versions of yourself, released fears that once defined your choices, and stepped into new energy without even realizing how boldly you've changed. That's what real growth looks like, it's subtle, but undeniable. And now, all that energy you've invested in healing, trusting, and realigning is beginning to echo back in the form of opportunity, divine timing, and triple blessings that know your name. So I invite you to reflect for a moment. What have you been resisting that might actually be ready to unfold? What doors have been gently nudging open while you've hesitated at the threshold? And more importantly, what would happen if, instead of waiting, you simply stepped forward and said, "I'm ready"? Because the universe doesn't need perfection. It just needs participation. It doesn't require you to be fearless just to be willing. This is not about deserving more, trying harder, or doing everything right. It's about choosing, consciously, to align with the version of you that already exists on the other side of doubt. And if you felt a stirring while watching this video, if even one sentence found its way straight to your heart, that's your sign. Anchor it. Speak it. Claim it. Leave a comment below and let the universe hear your voice. I am ready to receive my triple blessing on December 14th. I choose divine ease, success, and aligned abundance. I walk through the door that was always meant for me. These are not just words, they are spiritual agreements, seeds of intention planted in fertile ground. And when spoken from belief, they begin to shift your world in real time. I want to thank you, truly, for showing up, for being here, for giving your energy to this space, for listening with your heart open. Every like, every comment, every subscribe, every share is not just support for this channel, it's your sacred contribution to the frequency we are co-creating together. At Zodiac Whisper Tarot, this isn't just content. It's a sanctuary. It's a mirror. It's a space for you to remember who you really are and what you're still capable of becoming. And I am deeply honored to walk this path with you. So if today felt like more than a message, if it felt like a moment, don't rush past it. Let it shape something. Let it guide your next step. The energy is ready. The alignment is real. The door is open. The question now is, are you ready to walk through it?